Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another Prime Capital Financial Market Breakdown. I'm your host, Tara McBride, Chief Marketing Officer at Prime Capital Financial. For decades, the 401k has been the workhorse of American retirement. Simple, reliable, and frankly, a little vanilla. But what happens when we invite private equity, crypto, and other alternative investments to the party? Well, spoiler alert, it gets real interesting. Speaking of parties, this would be a total snoozer without my colleagues who always show up with the dip and the chips. Portfolio Manager Clayton Allison and Deputy CIO Will McGuff. These guys will uncork the growing conversation around private investments in 401ks, what they are, who they might help, and where the real risks lie. And hey, if you're the kind of investor who likes to read the fine print before making a move, we created a one-sheet guide just for you. It's got the quick hits of everything you need to know about alts in your 401k, and you can grab it right now by scanning the QR code on your screen or clicking the link in the episode description. All right, Will, let's get things started by setting the stage around 401ks. What do our viewers need to know about this familiar savings vehicle so that we can better understand how alternatives fit in?
Right, and so thanks everybody for joining in. And I'm going to try to explain your 401k account from our lens as it relates to both of us. So when you log into your 401k account, you see a menu of investments. Somebody at your firm is ultimately responsible for those investments, and they're called the plan sponsor, but they can share that responsibility for the investments with the responsible plan fiduciary or investment firm like Prime Capital Financial. From there, we're actually responsible to help choose and craft the menu of investments that are available to you. So we include all reasonable funds that can be part of an asset allocation, US stocks, international stocks, bonds. So we're ultimately going to have to review how privates would fit into that equation. But before we get there, I'll toss it back to you so we can dive into privates.
Okay, Clayton, what's the deal with alts and 401ks?
Yeah, Tara, that's a great question. Over the last couple of weeks or so, the news that's been coming out is the expectation that the administration is expected to sign an executive order opening 401k plans and other retirement vehicles open up to private market investments. So things like you mentioned earlier, private equity, private debt, venture capital, things of that nature. This is a brand new asset class that traditionally have not been allowed in 401k and retirement plans. So this really opens up a whole new world for investors. Now, particularly some things to keep an eye out here for, and why some people are for it and some are against it, is when you add in things like private market vehicles, in this case private equity, you can see outsized returns due to an illiquidity premium, greater diversification because that asset is not correlated with the broader market of your investments that you're holding. But there are some complications that come along with that and some risks that investors really need to keep their eye on, which is typically higher fees because of how complex the investment vehicles are, lack of transparency, and then making sure that your plan sponsor is doing the proper due diligence that that fund that they're offering up to your retirement choices is in the best interest of you, the plan participant. And because so much of this information is kind of opaque, you're really relying heavily on that plan sponsor to make sure that their processes are dialed in. Otherwise, you're going to be investing in something that you have no idea about and you can't find any information about.
Yeah, I mean, I in my former life, we talked a lot about the prudent actions from the plan fiduciaries and just asking questions, right? So, Will, coming back to you, why is this something the average American should care about, and why now?
Right, and so I think, Clayton, and you said the best words possible, it's in the best interest of a plan participant and having prudence as a fiduciary. So there's pros and cons to alternative investments. Following up from what I said previously with regards to the menu of investments in a 401k plan, there's also what is called a default, qualified default investment alternative, QDIA. This can be a target date fund, a risk-based fund, or a managed account. And so you can hire professional money managers to help invest for you along your savings journey towards retirement. In my opinion, private equity and private capital has a place in asset allocation. Clayton just went through the benefits of it. But what's different about privates versus publics is you have to front load years of research into making that investment decision because it's illiquid. And so that means you should probably have a professional money manager helping figure out what that allocation to private should be. So I think there's pros and cons. Privates and 401ks do make some sense to me, but only in regards to accessing them through professional money management.
Well, and it seems to me that a lot of plan participants, the employees at companies who are putting money into their 401k, don't even realize that they could talk to an advisor to get guidance on this. So I think it's really important for everybody to advocate for themselves and ask the questions. If you're not sure what's going into the 401k, ask questions, get guidance. And like you said, we'll talk to a professional who understands these things. It's always our theme, talk to somebody who can help you digest all of this. So look, we're not here to tell you that private equity in your 401k is a silver bullet, but ignoring it altogether, that's like showing up to a potluck with a fork and no dish. If implemented thoughtfully through a professionally managed account or a well-constructed target date fund, these investments could help bring back some of the lost sizzle from the small and mid-cap space that private markets quietly absorbed. Thanks to Clayton, thanks to Will for lending your insights today, and thanks to all of you for tuning in. If this conversation sparked a few questions or maybe a little curiosity, don't forget to download the episode's companion one-sheeter by scanning the QR code on your screen or clicking the link in the description. It's designed to help you navigate the fine line between diversification and overcomplication. And as always, if you're looking for guidance, if you need some help, reach out to us. We're happy to help you get a second opinion on your situation. Until next time, remember to stay informed, stay invested, and as always, we'll be here to help you navigate the twists and turns of the market.